How's it going? It is I just made a quick, like 40-second video short, but um, on my way here to the park, the sun, it's like 61 degrees right now, 62, 61, something like that, on Thursday. And I called my older brother because he's out taking care of my mother and stepfather. And it's so interesting because, um, he's got stage 4 cancer, and he's trying to take care of both of them. But I just have, I have a hard time going out there, but I'll go out there and help and stuff. But my stepfather is a huge guy, and I know my brother's having a hard time lifting him. They had a hard time, I guess, 3 weeks ago. He went walking out to the truck, and he slipped and fell, and he was hanging over the guardrail or something like that. He got caught between the guardrail, and he couldn't get himself out of there, and my older brother couldn't get him out of there. He tried and tried, and I just found out all this today. And so my other brother, who lives close to out there, he's probably like 6 or 7 miles away, was actually only 2 miles away from when this all happened, but my other brother didn't call him because he didn't want to bother him. He does the same thing to me, and so is the parents. I didn't want to bother you. They've been doing this all of our life. I don't want to bother you. And we're like, bother us, tell us, we care. And so anyway, I guess they took my mom into a doctor's appointment in Corvallis, and then my stepfather wasn't feeling very good. So when my mom was in the appointment, I guess one of the nurses told my brother to take my stepfather, wheel him over, because he's in a wheelchair, over to the emergency room, which was right next door. So they wheeled him over there, and they did some tests and stuff, and he's still over there. He's been over there for 2 weeks, I guess. They want to put him in a home, and he doesn't want to go in the home, and they want to do that to my mother too, and she doesn't want to go in the home. They both want to, if they're going to die, they want to die in the house. They want to, be together. They don't want to be separated. Understandable. And so my stepfather, he doesn't have a bed. He just, because, I was telling you, they're hoarders, but we got my mom a bed. We cleared it out and got my mom in when she was in the hospital in 2022 and got really seriously to where she couldn't get around very well. And so we cleared out a big spot and put her bed in there and stuff like that. And my stepfather still loved being in his chair, right? Well, this old rugged down chair. Well, when he went into the hospital, guess what he went in for? COVID. Yeah, he got that. After he had that and 4 boosters, for the last, since 2020, and so he goes into the hospital for 2 weeks for the COVID. They said he had that, and he had ammonia. Unreal. And he had his ammonia shot here, I guess, recently too, or last, something to that effect. But it's quite interesting, right? It really makes your eyes open about, because I didn't take it, and neither did my other little brother. But my older brother, I was talking to him today, asked him if he took it, and he said, yeah, he's taken all 4. And it's quite interesting because he didn't get which I'm not saying that's the reason why he got stage 4 cancer, but he didn't have any symptoms or anything until those things started going in, because he didn't get diagnosed until 2023, and 2020 is when he got this, all those things. I just think that, my little brother was I called him and we were talking today. He goes, He goes, but he goes, there's just no way. He goes, and so I guess my stepfather, actually Kelly did this. He's already got their plot set. Their plot's already paid for. Their headstones are already paid for, and their burial's already paid for. I guess both of them. They want to be together, which is understandable, right? But I didn't know any of this stuff because they're such procrastinators, right? And so I was talking to my little brother Kelly today. Well, they weren't going to do it. He's the one who made him go do it. He took him down there. He goes, it was me, Casey, that took him down there. It was me that told him to write the check out for this. It was me that did, it was him that did the land too. And then for the trust, my older brother who lives out there with them. So my mom's saying, well, about the land and stuff like that. And she goes, well, Bill gets the land. And Kelly goes, you sure that you want that to happen? And she goes, well, yeah. He goes, well, how is he going to pay? See, he doesn't work. He hasn't worked in probably 30 years. Nothing. He's just been living out there with them. For whatever reasons why. But, who knows? Maybe it was for this purpose of him taking care of them, because that's all he's been doing anyway, is there to take care of them. So it's not like he hasn't been working. He's been taking care of two grown adults that are aged, So I got to we look at that part because that's a chore in itself. Because I don't know about you, but my mother's a big woman, and she was hard to lift, even when I was trying to get her loaded up into the truck and taken out, or being able to lift up with one side. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just weak, or I'm 58, so I don't have that super strength, like I usually do, But anyway, so my stepfather's supposed to be coming home, but we got to find him a bed, and we got to find, because like I said, for the last, this is crazy, you guys, for at least 10, 15 years, he's been sleeping in a recliner chair, because he doesn't want a bed. And so now he's got all these sores. He's got gout on his toes and all over his body from sitting there for so long and not being able to, that kind of thing. My mom was doing the same thing, and I didn't know that either, but she was for like 10 years in a recliner as well. They bought these two big recliners that pull out all the way, and they would rather sleep in that than in a regular bed, but it messed up their back. They created sores for them, and all this stuff. And that's because obviously they're hoarders. They didn't have a room for a bed, and the bed that they did have in there, you couldn't even walk in the bedrooms anymore. It was just piled up with junk. So that's another thing my little brother was asking me. He goes, I don't want anything from there. He goes, I go, well, I don't want anything either, because, and I say that not to be disrespectful, but there's nothing of value. The only thing that's probably of value is the guns that they have, and the gun safe. Maybe a couple of, the photos or whatever, that might be of value, but the rest of it is just knickknacks from secondhand stores and Goodwill stores, and mixed with a little bit of rat pee and poop and stuff like that. Again, I'm not bashing my parents. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there in this world that have, I see it all the time when I'm watching Facebook videos about when these officers go into these people's houses, and I usually leave a comment too. My goodness, you have kids and you live like that? So it's I'm sure we're all lazy in our ways. I get the same way, but and I have to admit, when I lived up in Salem, when I was, I got a 3-bedroom apartment, or a 3-bedroom, got a duplex kind of like thing. And I had my garage filled with stuff. A lot of it was brand new, still in the box, because I worked at a retailer store, and I'm like, oh, it's on sale. It's way cheap, so let's get it. Maybe I might give it a gift. I was just loading all this stuff in. I filled up the both bedrooms. I filled up partly my bedroom, and then of course I had all the stuff for the living room and the kitchen and everything. And when it come time for me to move into something smaller, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with all this stuff? And it's still brand new. So I tried to have a garage sale, and that went pretty good, because I was just like, everything, whatever you want for $1, right? And the stuff is brand new, like brand new dishes and diner sets or whatever, because I used to work for Costco. So, they got a lot of good stuff, and I just wanted to get rid of it. And what I couldn't sell at the garage sale, I just took all this brand new stuff and took it to Goodwill, and I took it to the Teen Challenge place here, They're like, this stuff's brand new. I'm like, I know it is, but as soon as I got rid of all that stuff, you guys, I tell you what, and that's why today I have a lot of things still packed up in boxes and limited stuff out. Because the stuff that are packed in boxes are just like memorabilia of stuff through my life and history, stuff that I'm not going to look at right now. And I just take it place to place. So I cut myself completely down to, hardly anything. And it feels so good. It was like all that stuff that I have accumulated and carried was so much of a weight on me that I don't think people realize that they're just, the more stuff they bring on, it's like in the smaller space, they're just closing themselves up. And that's how I know that my parents feel, because they're surrounded, they can't move, they're just limited. They got these trails going around. And I know that's part of their problem, but they're isolated, but, they can't see it. But I seen it because, I have my mom's genes, and my mom's kind of the main hoarder. So it's the things that we inherit from our family, the things that they do, their genes. I got half my mom's genes. So, got to expect that. I have my dad's other half, so I have my dad's build. He's just skinny. He's the only one in the family is skinny. I'm the only one out of my brothers that's skinny. Everybody else is chunky, kind of like on my mom's side. So my other 3 brothers, it's kind of a trip. But, that all goes back to the tree of life. My tree of life is my dad's Y chromosomes and my mom's X chromosomes. So, bi, Bible, biosphere, biology, the 2 witnesses, the X and Y, is so interesting. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just rambling on here. It's been going on for like 13 minutes. I'm going to smoke a joint, drink a little bit of my Frosty Freeze. And, it's got a little barcode on there. Maybe someone can scan that. But the Dutch Brothers, yeah, the windmill. I don't know. I'm sure there's some type of symbology to that too. But yesterday, I just put a video out this morning. Oh no, I didn't put it out. But there's videos of people putting out. I think Mr. MBB 333 has a video of it, and I seen another guy with a video today of it on Facebook. But apparently, I think it was at the end of February 29th, where they're using these telescopes going up to the moon, looking at the moon, and right next to the moon is this huge, giant face. It's like this guy's a huge human guy face. It's about the size of the moon, giant. And even Mr. MBB's like, what is going on here? And I'm just, but I think what is happening is I think the veil, well, I know the veil is coming down because of everything that we're seeing, everything that's coming into our reality, everything that's people are seeing like extraterrestrials in their backyard, or check out Mr. MBB's channel. There's people that are taking pictures out in the woods at night, and there's these human-like. There's this one human-like being that's sitting up in the tree, watching them, but he's in total darkness, right? But it's humanoid, but it's not human. So this is where I think, which if you check out Mr. MBB 333, he's got all this stuff flooding in. It's like all this different ships in the sky. So I think it's the veil dropping. Even in these lightning storms that are happening, we're seeing things. They're seeing dragons flying through the sky. And you're like, how could that be? That looks like a dragon, or that looks like a giant snake, or that looks like something like a big, like some type of sea creature going through the sky. So it's so interesting, and I know people are still having a hard time. People are still having a hard time going, oh, that's CGI. Oh, that's not real. That's not real. This is not real. See, and I think that's another thing that was planned by the dark too, was put out the fear of the CGI, put out the fear of the AI system, put out the fear of this. So now when people see this stuff, they don't believe it. They're just like, oh yeah, nice Photoshop. Oh, nice this. But they're actually using the telescope, and they're zooming in and zooming out and showing you what's there. And that's pretty good if you can do that with CGI. I don't know. I see the veil dropping. I see the images unfolding on my face, and like I was saying, when I show the images on my face and my body, I usually get a couple of new subscribers. But then once I start showing these images, I don't know why, but it puts fear into them, and they just unsubscribe. And I don't see anything scary about any of these faces that are on me. Sure, they look different, like different beings, but I can't think of, why should I be in fear thinking that everything is out there is just fearful? It's just like when the church is like saying aliens or demons. No, it's like saying, because you look at humanity, you have good and bad people. You have good and bad people in every race. Everything's created by God. And I think that's the problem with the church and the people, is they don't understand that everything is created by the Creator, right? There's I think a verse in Romans or something about, I am visible and invisible. God is visible and invisible, right? Invisible because we can't see him down here, and invisible because, remember, I was telling you I was in a vision where he is visible. So he's visible within our mind's eye, with, it's like going through the mirror to get to him in our visions and dreams. So he's visible. It's because I was at his feet and stuff. I seen his feet. I seen what he was showing me. I seen Archangel Gabriel and Prince Michael. I seen all that. But the only thing that I've been blocked out from was seeing God's face. And I don't know if it's because he was so bright or why, I can't remember. And there's another, out of all those screens, when it's been bothering me ever since when I first had the vision, when Gabriel was lighting up all those television screens with all my work and notes being on it, the last screen that I looked at, I can't remember what I looked at, but I looked at it, and I looked back at Prince Michael, and I know I looked back at God too, but I can't remember what he looks like, his face. And then, I see his his brass feet, but I can't see him, right? And, or remember what he looks like. And I think that part's blocked out for a reason. And then I look back at that last screen, and I looked at it again, and then I was how you're like trying to figure out what is that? What am I looking at? Or it's like I knew what I was looking at, and I was questioning it, you know. Um, and that's why I turned back around and looked again, and that's when God pulled me into him. And then when he touched me, it's like I felt him touch my lips. It's like I lit up like this golden yellow colored light. I literally was laying on the couch, and I had my eyes closed because I was laying there in this vision. And as I was laying there, and as soon as that gold light hit, I was like, opened up my eyes. I'm like, oh my, I'm in a vision. And I closed my eyes again. And I was right back in that gold light. And I was just so, my whole body was tingling. I can feel it in my physical body. I mean, my whole inside being was just felt so relaxed, comfortable, in love. Oh my gosh, I was so in love. I will never forget that moment. It was like, I don't want to go anywhere. It's a different kind of love, though. It's a kind of love it's a love that I've never experienced here in my human body on this life and in this form. And I think that's very important that I've taken out of this too, is that this love is an amazing love. It's not like the love that we are taught here on earth. It's a whole nother type of love, and it's a love that I can't even express. And maybe that's the reason why, is because there's not a word for it on this realm, because it's not on this realm. But either way, I know I've been chatting, so I'm going to get out here. Have a great day, everybody. Hope you're enjoying it. Oh, I want to check a couple of things out. See if there's anything different. I think it was my right side that I was showing you yesterday about all those faces. And there were like, all these faces were lined up one, and the next one. It's like there's this row of people right here looking out this way. That's another thing that was kind of a trouble. I'm just, look at all these people. All their faces are all lined up here. And then there's like these big faces over them. And then these other faces looking off in this direction. And I think that's another thing that we don't understand too, is God's kingdom, God's creatures, or God's humanoids that he's made, other types of species. And again, that's probably another veil that's put up in front of us, and that's coming down to realize that God has more than just us, because, us, we're the only things, we're the only great, things that God's ever created. When, we got to really think about God is, picked from his creation to create us, into who we are today, or who we are, our bodies and everything. But you know how we are. We're spoiled. Have a great day, everybody. Oops, is it going to go? Nope.